Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Dan Benjamin, co-founder and CEO of Dig Security, to discuss the data security risks that enterprises are exposed to in the absence of critical security controls for sensitive data. Dan, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. You got it. Let's go through some background here, right? Where is your sensitive data? Where is that stored?
So typically organizations, in the past, they used to have all data stored on-prem, right? But the typical enterprise today has data in 5 main locations. Endpoints are personal machines, right? Email, Office 365, something like that. On-prem, SaaS, and public cloud. Public cloud is the largest growth today in most large enterprises. So AWS and Azure and Snowflake and Databricks. And typically what we see is that 30% of all data stores in the cloud today contain sensitive data, whether it is PII, PHI, or PCI data.
So who has access to the sensitive data? I would imagine if you enable too much access or over permissioning, that can lead to exposure.
Of course. So everything in this industry should be on a good segregation of duty and right-sizing data access. We should only give access to the right people, machines, vendors, applications. But that's not what we actually find. We find that 95% of all roles that have access to sensitive data are overprivileged. 35% of these roles have access to sensitive data. And most of them have admin access to PCI data, to third-party vendors. So IAM and permissioning to sensitive data is a massive problem in the industry because most of the organizations still don't have any knowledge of where do they have sensitive data, and then they can't control who has access to it.
So where does the sensitive data flow? I would imagine that an issue that compounds these security risks is you're going across, it's flowing across geolocations.
Correct. So we do see most organizations today operate in multiple geographic locations, sometimes inside a single country, sometimes across multiple continents. But we see that 40% of data flows is actually flowing to data lakes, right? Hadoop and other types of data lakes. We see a lot of replication of data, which actually by privacy laws is forbidden. We see that most of this data is accessed by 5 to 10 applications. So 50% of data is actually accessed by multiple applications, even though it should be one application to each type of data store. And we see a lot of data moving outside of PCI environments where it shouldn't. We see data being replicated from production environments to non-production environments. I still think that the lack of visibility and control and understanding of the data prohibits most organizations today from building the right set of controls around data, which is what we're mandated by both compliance regulations and privacy regulations.
So tell me where Dig Security fits in the security ecosystem. How are you helping enterprises overcome cloud data security challenges?
That's a great question. So Dig Security is a cloud data security company. We're a two-year-old company. We raised $50 million, team of almost 100 today globally. And what we do is we help organizations first off understand what data do they own. So we discover any type of data store that they own across AWS and Azure and GCP. We classify all the data. So we bring in visibility to where do we have PII and PHI and credit card numbers or developer secrets. Then we bring in context to the actual data. So where do we have misconfigurations or excessive permissions or any type of data risk, or how is data flowing inside the organization today? And lastly, of course, we actually protect the data. We monitor every type of data interaction that happens. And then we flag when something goes wrong. If data is being copied outside of your cloud, or someone downloads the production data into their own personal machine. So anything that we need to essentially protect the organization as a data security platform.
So Dan, what differentiates your cloud security solutions compared to other vendors and competitors in your space?
So first off, we're not a generalist cloud security vendor, we're a data security vendor. We sell to data security teams, to GRC teams, the people that are focused around data. Today, data is becoming probably the second largest spend today for a CISO organization. That's the second highest priority. And those organizations today are looking for data-centric solutions. How do we protect the actual data itself inside the organization? Now, we differentiate ourselves by first providing cloud-heavy focus. So Most solutions were built for the on-prem world, and we were built for cloud. So we're able to properly support cloud-based organizations in a proper fashion. And second, not only that, we also have active protection where most organizations or most products are mostly focused around discovery, just finding the actual data, and then that's it. We actually protect the data once we actually found it. So we monitor every type of data interaction, flag, and also respond whenever we see a data risk.
All right, Dan, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks for having me.